I'm Alex Cheparev, and welcome to Crashing Maya. Hey guys, in this episode we'll work on the hands. Let's get started. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hide everything I'm not going to use, and I'm going to dive right into it. So I actually took a little bit of time earlier and adjusted these guys. So basically I went through and made sure that they kind of went around each finger, the loops here, just moving the points and stuff. That's about it, and we're going to use something called Quadro for this, and I'll show you how that works. It's pretty easy and pretty great too. So I'm going to turn on the wireframe here. I'm going to hide the fingers because they're going to get in the way, and if we press 4 we can see these are the lines we need to make. Now I could just start cutting this object, but it would be too much work, so I'm going to duplicate it once and then hide it, and then take this guy and subdivide it once, so we have a little denser mesh like this. And then I'm going to go up here to this magnet and click it. This will make this object live, and if you press 4 you can see it's green. It means it's live. And now we will go into right here into the modeling toolkit. It's this button on the top right, and we're going to find Quadro. And what Quadro does, when you mouse over a live object you get a cursor. So if we go into our front view, from here I'm just going to draw our first loop. And what I'm going to do, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start from the bottom and then work my way up, so each one will layer over the other one. So I'm going to start, I want to make the first band here thicker than this line, so I want it to go further in. So I'm going to just start here and just place some lines like this. And what I'm doing is I'm placing vertices, and you can see they stick to the surface like that. So actually we can turn on wireframe so we can see where we're clicking, so that we know kind of where to place our points. So I'm going to place one here, and then one there, and one like this. And then we're going to place one here, here, and here. And then if you hold Shift, you can click, and it will create a face between 4 points. That. There we go. And then I want this to kind of wrap around the finger that's here, so I'm going to do this like that. Now if you hold Control you can add loops like that, and they will stick to the surface. And you can use the middle mouse button to move, or the left mouse button like that. There, and then I'm going to go in and hold Control. I'm going to drop 2 lines, so one line about 1/3 up, and then one here as well, and I'll stick. And then when we're done, all we do is we'll turn off the modeling toolkit and turn off the object being live, and then just press W. That will take us into the move tool. And now what we have is this new geometry. We hide this, and it's the band around the first band around the hand. So I'm going to go through and just make more, and we're going to hide that. So the process will be pretty simple. I'm just going to go in, and based on these lines draw more bands. So it would be something like this. You click the magnet again to make it live, open the modeling toolkit, quad draw, and then start again. So this time I need to kind of see what I'm doing, so I'll click here, then go up there, and then here like that, and then like this. Actually this one needs to go higher, and so does that one, like that, and then here and here. Okay, so once I have this lined up, the back, we're not following any drawing, we just have to imagine what it would look like. So from there I would just make it up. And you want to make sure that each band overlaps the previous one. Okay, and let's see. We'll see, maybe this will work, maybe not. And then if you hold shift, you can kind of relax it a little. So shift and click and it'll smooth out your lines. Okay. Okay, uncheck it. Okay, so now we have two. And I'm gonna keep doing this, and I'll come back in a few minutes. Alright guys, so here are all the bands we have, and I made them in sequence so that they all overlap. They're all in order. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to raise the ends on each one. So first I'm going to select this thing. I'm going to press B and then drag the offset a little bit like that. So a little more. So you press B to activate soft select, and then you hold B and middle mouse button drag. This will give you some fall off, and then I'm going to use transform component and take the blue arrow and just push it in. I'm going to go to the next band, select the bottom one, and then select the blue arrow and pull it out like that. This one we don't need that. Like that. Okay, and then we'll go to the next one. So I'm actually going to change the fall off amount and actually the curve for soft select. So if I press B, I want it to be a straight line, so it's an even fall off. Press that. Oh, it doesn't even do anything, so we don't even need it. And I'm pressing G to reactivate the last tool used, which is the transform component tool. Okay. Okay, just a couple more. Oops. Okay, come on. Almost done. Alright. Last bit. Alright, so let's subdivide and see what that looks like. Alright, so I want to see if there's any overlaps that I need to fix, like this. So I'll use transform component on this face. Select this vertex, push it in. Okay. Okay, so what you can also do is in the move tool, you can change the direction to normal. But when you do that, sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, where's our manipulator? Alright, instead we'll do component. So if you set it to component, you should be able just to do this. And just what we're trying to do is make sure all the overlaps are correct. So I turned on, if you have under renderer viewport 2.0, you can turn this button on, which will turn on ambient occlusion, which kind of tries and puts shadows in the valleys, in the in the crevices in your geometry, so it's easier sometimes to see things like this. Oops. Okay, and now let's bring back this stuff. So there's the hand, that's the duplicate, and this is the soft one. Just want to make sure. looking right. So what I want to do with this is I want to kind of make it seem like it's wrapped around the thumb here. So I'm going to select this vertex and do that to it, and select this one. There it is. There. Looks pretty good. Alright, so okay, so that's a little not good. So let's fix that. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with it. What I want to do now is unhide not this one, this one, and I want to shrink it. So I'm going to click transform component, and then I'm going to just scale it in. I actually don't want to do the fingers, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to select all the faces except the faces around the fingers. I want to leave those alone. Okay, so for this selection, I'm going to use this tool, this marquee tool. Hold Control and just drag a selection over it like that. Gives you a little extra precision, and you don't have to pick every face. There. So as long as the anything that you don't want to select or want to select falls into the area you draw, you can deselect. Okay, so I want to leave those, and then I'm going to click Transform Component, grab the blue arrow, and do that. That. Okay, that's good enough for now. And to finish it off, I'm going to do this. I'm going to select all the bandages. Did I miss any? Nope. I'm going to assign new material, and I'm going to assign it a Lambert. I'm going to make it something obvious, like red. So now you can easily see where it's going through. So I'm going to select this geometry here, click the Sculpt Poly tool, set it to push, make sure opacity is low, and just paint it. Make the brush smaller when we get here, so we're a little more careful. So I'm doing a combination of holding shift and just painting normally to get the effect I want. Okay. And then for this, I'm just going to use the good old move edge tool or transform component, grab those, pull it out like that. Okay, so the next thing, I want to put holes for where the fingers go in. So I'm just going to hide the bandages for now. And you know what? I just want to fix a little more here. Almost done. Okay, so let's hide the bandages. That's what it looks like. It's all lumpy. That's okay. It's gonna be wrapped up anyway. So I need to select. I'm gonna select this vertex and grow its selection to that, and then convert to faces. Oops. There. And then I'm going to press B for soft select. Just want to move this hole to make it fit the finger better, the thumb. I'll select these corners. I'm going to just scale them down like that. Now make it nice and round. Then I'm going to extrude in the direction where the finger is going. Like that. And delete. So I'm going to isolate this so that I can insert an edge loop. And I want to select this edge and use transform component on it, just like that, because I want this to be more rounded than it is. I want it to be more obvious that the geometry goes in, wraps inside, and drop another loop like that. Like that. And then we'll do the same to the other fingers. So extrude, this will just push in like that, and then delete. And then I'm going to add 2 loops, multi, set it to 2. And then transform component. There. Alright, those are the bandages with the hand. So now I'm going to select all the bandages and I'm going to assign Lambert 1 back to them, and then I'm going to extrude like that. I like using thickness, but I don't know why it breaks like this, so we just have to use the blue arrow instead. And if you want to see what it's doing, and you can't because it's black, just go into lighting, turn on two-sided lighting temporarily. I usually like to work with two-sided lighting off, but sometimes I turn it off if I can't see what I'm doing. Okay. There they are. So we need to add some loops to prevent the bandages from kind of collapsing. See, the change is too drastic from the border. So I'm going to set all of them to 1. To do this, I'm going to combine them. I'm not going to merge anything, just combine them so that it's easier to work with. Clear history, and then isolate select. And then I'm going to just go through and select all of these faces. It might be easier just to maybe not. Okay. Alright, so now that it's all selected, let's just double check. I'm gonna click extrude, grab the blue arrow, and just give it a little bit of a edge. So now you can see we have a nice edge there, and we can go in and fix some of the stuff. So select this guy. Like that. Done. Oops. Alright, so that looks great. Let's unhide. If we don't need this, I'll drop it into reference so we can save it. And then we have the inner hand, we have the bandages on top, and now let's bring back, where's the arm? Okay, that looks great. So the arm, I'm going to make a hole here. Select this guy and then extrude. Let's see. And then extrude in. So I isolate it, and then we'll add a loop. Oops. A loop here, one there, and an extra loop. Double click this edge, transform component, and push it in. There. Okay, so that looks great. So that's the old arm and the new arm. Alright, so let's select this guy. We don't need it. Put that in there. We can close the modeling toolkit. I'm going to duplicate this group and mirror it to the other side. Okay. Alright, so the hands are done. In the next video we'll finish up. We'll add the detail, we'll add the teeth to the skull, and then that's it. We'll move on to UVs, and then we'll create a simple rig and add the pins and create a simple rig so we can pose them. Alright, subscribe and like. See you guys next time.